What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things as they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. And you can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out. And I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts. And I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. Messed up and out of touch, let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. Before we get started with the show tonight, I want to have just a little discussion, if you will. I'm going to clip this out, most likely, tomorrow, and put it up as its own video. So, but I've got a question and a challenge for the prepper channels out there. It's actually a challenge for you to answer the question, actually. And I just want folks to know, because this isn't just for prepper channels on YouTube, content creators, there's good information that can be had by all. Probably the most amount of life-saving information that one single person could give you at one given time. And I don't take those words lightly. I just, like I was going to say, I want people to know that I have I brought this up to many of the larger prepper channels. And I can tell you, and it's been a long time back, I haven't talked about it at all, because they brush it off. They blow it off. They don't think anything about it. I've talked about it a number of times here. And, I'm about trying to help people. I want to try to help people. I don't believe in this bullshit that, we should just grab up our things and we should just hide out and fuck everybody else. No, I don't. Homie, don't play that. Because that's not how it's going to work anyway. Because once people figure out you're in there, and if you've got that hostile attitude towards them, yikes. It is what it is. So it's better off to try to do your best to help. But I've got a question, like I said, and that question is a pretty simple question. And I've brought visual aids too, because, sometimes you need things like pictures and stuff, but, I understand. Where's your oxen? That's the question. Where's your oxen? I want to know. And it can't be just any old run-of-the-mill oxen just free-ranging out there on the lands. No. Those oxen won't do. You're going to need trained oxen. And then that inevitably leads me to the next question. Where's your equipment for said oxen to pull? I'll be damned if I don't have one more question after that. Where's your training and experience to use said equipment with said oxen for your end-of-the-world scenario? Because I know a lot about stocking and storing and all of that good stuff, and I know that there are some individuals that have managed to actually put back a fairly large stockpile of goods. That's fine, but it's still gonna run out. I just want to know, where's your oxen? I mean, I'll cut you some slack. They could be donkeys, I guess, to some extent. You're probably going to need oxen or something like that. I'm not a farmer, so bear with me. But I just need to know where your oxen is, because I don't know where your oxen is. See, I brought this up before, and I'm going to fully admit I'm probably going to be a little bit salty about this. Because I see a whole lot of people out there in the prepping community, as far as content creators, that are all about themselves. And yeah, they show you little bits of stuff here and there, but It's how short term their thought process is. It's not very long. A couple of years, really. Because I want to know, just let me know, please, their groups that they have. Have they specifically brought people within their groups to be able to operate refineries, oil wells, and everything you would need to support those types of operations in order to make fuel? Because at some point, all that flour, those wheat berries you've got stored back is either going to run out or go bad. At some point, somebody's going to have to start planting some fields. Oxen. That's why we need oxen. Again, I'm a bit salty with this subject because, like I say, I see a bunch of people out there that could really reach and provide a lot of help. I've talked about how they could simply just advise people, to find office buildings or whatever after a big event or whatever. Look for the uninterruptible power supplies, because that makes a real damn good power inverter. And maybe some of these big channels could help teach how, because I know how to hook it up and I can teach how to hook it up, but like you big prepper channels say, I'm just a worthless piece of shit, right? So why don't you explain it to them how to hook it up? I mean, I'm wondering where all this big help is that you guys provide, basically. Where's your oxen? Did you ever answer that? Where the hell are those oxen? Because it takes a fair amount of wheat berries, wouldn't you say? I mean, you have to harvest a fair amount of wheat to be able to make one loaf of bread for every family. We'll even say every other day. I just wonder where the hell is the oxen, because you're gonna need, and you're gonna have to have the equipment and the training, and it's just like we can't get past a couple years because we have to rely on big corporations to provide us with fuel so that we can run our tractors and our equipment, our vehicles for transportation of goods and human beings. Oh, and oxen. Yeah, you can use vehicles to transport oxen too. But I'm just trying to figure out how they're planning on getting those refineries and everything going to get that kind of fuel to be able to carry on with life like mankind has always known. Now, I hear all about all this real cool tactical gear and bullshit, but I'm failing to understand where their thoughts are past a couple years. But don't forget, I'm the dumbass. I've got oxen. I'm not going to come here and give you a problem and not give you an answer. Right? You got enough to do that for you right now. You don't need any more help with that. I've got my oxen right here. I've talked about it a number of times on the show. But I am a small channel. I get it. I could care less about how big, how small. I'm not looking for anybody's acceptance. I'll tell you that right now. I'm me. I can't help that. And I know I rub people the wrong way. But I become a dick when you try to address somebody with important things and they, and it's all because of an ego. These egotistical people lead you straight to hell. They don't care. They're in it for them. Don't need to spend a lot of time with this. I know I threw a lot of dramatization in. It's not any worse than the bullshit you get from them daily about every little news event that they can fearmonger you about, right? Simple. I've talked about it before. And I've said before, many times, I've even got the date in there. You could go back, you could probably go back to that frickin' date. You could probably go back to that date on our shows, and I guarantee you I probably showed this to you on that damn date. 2016. FEMA gasifier. Doesn't cost you anything. See, that's the damn problem. They can't make any money off of this stuff. If they could figure out how to profit off of it, they'd be all about it. But beyond that, past 2 years, they ain't got a fucking thing for you. They got a lot of shit you can buy, though. But don't listen to people that abide by Hosea 4:6. Don't listen to those people. Yeah, I'm salty. Because I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of seeing all the pimping bullshit. I'm getting tired of hearing all the propaganda because for whatever reason they're benefiting. I want people to get help. Am I wrong for that? Please, folks. FEMA gasifier. Look it up. There's people, tons of people. Wayne Keith, Flash 001 USA, I believe is the channel. In fact, you could go to the playlists on our YouTube channel, and in the playlist, I have Flash 001 USA's videos of his design of a gasifier, and out of every gasifier that I've scoured the interwebs for, that is by far the best design. Flash 001, I believe it is, USA is the channel. Again, you can go to this channel's playlist. It'll be way down because I put it up a long time ago. And that is the gasifier I recommend building. But in the very least, download for free the FEMA gasifier PDF. Right off, all you got to do is put in FEMA gasifier PDF, whatever, you'll get it. It's thick, it's big, but don't stop there. No, print it out. Right? This isn't a computer screen here. This isn't a phone here. This is paper. Print it out. And I'm not stuttering when I say put it in your safe. Put it in somewhere with something of extreme importance. Because even if you don't understand this, there are people in your community that will. Okay? I'm telling you, between auto mechanics and tinkerers and what have you, there are people in your community that will know how to take this information and use it to get tractors and cars and trucks running off of wood. It was done in World War II. This isn't some magic bullshit I'm trying to sell you for $19.99. They did it during World War II, during all the rationing and everything else. That is what this teaches you how to build. The same system they used then. Flash 001 USA just happens to have an advanced system, a much better, more efficient system than this one. That's all. It's frustrating because I know how important bread was in a meal. I know how important flour is, how important wheat is. And we're going from a society that's wholly dependent on fossil fuels. And in the blink of an eye, that may no longer be a reality. What's the plan past 2 years? And I'm speaking to even the peppers that got 2 years worth of stuff. There's not a whole lot of them. We don't even come close to that. We wouldn't have room to come close to that. I want to know what the plan is past 2 years. Because I'm not hearing anything. I want to know if you've got the people lined up to restart the refine. I'm serious. Because you're going to have to probably start day one to get those refineries back up and going. And be able to produce enough fuel for the country. Or see, you can produce these units at home and use them locally. And teach others how to build them and use them. And actually save lives. Imagine that. Imagine that. It's something that wholly frustrates me. Anywho, I do have quite a bit of news to cover tonight. Actually, quite a few headlines. It's insane. It's nuts. And then it's not, I don't want to say I saved the best for last because it's absolutely not the best. Not even remotely. But we'll just say the most ironic for last. I saved the most ironic for last. I think you'll feel me. Let's see. What do I got up here? Hang on. I hate it when I'm between monitors. 4, 8, 9. 9. I got nine articles up to discuss. Huh. This first one, I don't know. I guess I got more questions. Am I allowed to ask more questions? This doesn't have to do with wood gasification, I promise. But if you've got a sink, doesn't matter, kitchen sink, bathroom sink, doesn't matter what kind of sink. If you've got a sink and the water's turned fully on, and that sink is overflowing, what's the first thing that you do? Bueller? Bueller? Oh. You turn off the faucet, you say. Novel idea. Stop the problem. Stop the problem where it starts. Another thing that frustrates me about content creators. Nothing about stopping it before it starts. Just a bunch of shit you can't know about. Pass the collection plate. Hallelujah. Love how that works. I need a jet, by the way. God told me I need a jet, but it's not like a Lear jet. I know. I need that. I need that damn F-15 that Biden promised me. God says I need an F-15. Father, I'm sorry. Well, that's what it seems like sometimes. Anywho, more to the point of the article. Holy hell, how much more evidence do we need? Women asked about sex lives during Bill Gates' job interviews, says Wall Street Journal. You know, and there's a couple things with this, because you know what? All these publications, all these different mainstream news sold you the hell out with the whole COVID thing, right? All of them did. All of them did. So we can verify with evidence that they're not really interested in helping you. They're interested in getting paid as much as possible. That's kind of common sense. So I have to ask why they're even talking about this stuff. We can't get them to talk about like the Hunter Biden stuff for nothing. But they'll talk about Bill Gates. Is this to distract us maybe from the Hunter Biden and the big guy stuff? You got to turn the faucet off, folks. You have to turn the faucet off. Doesn't matter how you stop the flow of that water, you have to stop the flow first before you do anything else. And we know where the valve's a little screwed up at, right? Right? You need to turn it off. What can I say? Gotta turn off the faucet. The only way you're gonna fix it. Turn it off. And you make a damn good show of it. So nobody else turns the faucet back on. You see, it's like the government clearly understands that they need violence to see other nations do their bidding, do their will. Right? If you've got a country that doesn't want to do what you're telling them to do, the only way you're going to make them is go to war. You know, you can sanction them and play all the footsies bullshit that they're doing with Russia and have been and all the other countries. But at some time, it's going to have to come to violence. And I think we're there now as a nation. But that's also reality about that frickin' faucet. I'll be damned. Just saying. Enough with the bullshit. I can't wait until people are serious about wanting to do something. And I don't mean that in some... Doesn't have to be that way. All we need is unity. All we need is all of us to care more about this stuff than we do a baseball game or a football game or some prepper convention or some... Really messed up. Really messed up. Stockholm Syndrome. It's a bitch. Especially when you don't have it and you live somewhere where everyone does. Anyway. Can I say I digress? That'd be totally copping out, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I digress. People say it as if it means anything. You done said what the hell you said. I'm just messing around. China tests weapons for total war scenario, says media. China has expanded its weapons testing and evaluation programs to include a global conflict scenario amid rising tensions between Beijing and Washington, the South China Morning Post reported on Wednesday. According to the article, the latest computer-based war games and filed tests have been focused on assessing the capabilities of Chinese warships in a doomsday situation. The so-called Z-War scenario is a clash of strategic willpower. The regional conflict escalates to a total war, Chinese People's Liberation Army researcher Fang Kanzhen, whose team carried out the simulation, told the outlet. Fang's team declassified its work in a peer-reviewed article published in the Chinese Journal of Ship Research earlier this month. They didn't identify any specific countries in their paper, but the potential adversaries who had been designated as the Blue Alliance deployed Arleigh Burke-class destroyers used by the U.S. and its allies, the SCMP wrote. As a part of the simulation, a Chinese destroyer was attacked by more than a dozen missiles and 3 torpedoes. The Blue Alliance generated jamming noises that were over 30 times stronger than the signal used by the ship to communicate, while also reducing the range of its radars by 60%, according to the article. In the conditions of such an all-out attack, the destroyer's combat capabilities were severely reduced. The Chinese vessel lost a third of its air defense potential, while only half of the surface-to-air missiles were able to hit incoming targets, Fang's team pointed out. The researchers said that Chinese naval experts had independently assessed the results of their test and found them to be realistic. It is unlikely that this paper is intended as a horror movie. An unnamed computer scientist who helped develop commercial wargame software told the newspaper about the work done by Fang's team. Researchers often look into worst-case scenarios because it helps them better understand the strengths, weaknesses, and limitations of weapons, he explained. Last week, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken made a long-delayed trip to China in an attempt to defuse mounting tensions between Washington and Beijing over American support for Taiwan, the Chinese balloon incident in February, and other issues. So, and then just go into the other stuff. But, the truth of the matter is, everybody involved, at least to some level, has the same warfare capabilities with some exceptions, like, oh, I don't know, we don't have hypersonic missiles. Out of the 4 countries on this planet that have hypersonic missiles, the United States is not one of them. That's some messed up stuff. Man. Well, I would say probably expect about the same. I don't think that we've got anything that is going to just absolutely take them out with no chance and blah, 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 because that's not the way war works. I mean, there are some things that I'm sure we know. I'm sure there's some things that they know. But there's a whole lot that each other don't. And there's a whole ton of classified programs that never, ever even get mentioned in the darkness. We don't know anything about that stuff. And when you talk about a all-out doomsday war, I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff deployed. I don't see the superpowers rushing to have an all-out nuclear war. Because nobody wins, and they know that. They all know that. At the same time, it's not very smart to put your cards out on the table and say, oh, well, we got this. You know, it won't screw up your topsoil and all that stuff, but it'll wipe everybody out. You don't see them doing that. But don't think for a second they don't have alternatives to nukes, because I guarantee you they've got a lot of alternatives to nukes. A lot. But you're not going to see them until they pull them out. You're just not. You'd be one stupid military command if, oh, well, what about these? We've got these. The only time it works like that are when the Clintons are in office. I don't know. It works like that then. Probably when the Obamas are in office, I would say so. Actually, when the Bushes, both Bushes, as a matter of fact. How many presidents in a row? Damn, that's horrible. Damn, that's horrible. Okay, let me continue on. Well, I don't think that they necessarily were super honest about the amount of vehicles in their report, but we'll cut them some slack, at least long enough to read a couple paragraphs. Ukraine suffered disastrous losses in single offensive, says Forbes. Now, mind you, there's video that you can go watch that was of one area. One area. Ukraine's widely anticipated counteroffensive has seen Kiev's forces lose a significant amount of armor, including dozens of Western-supplied tanks and infantry fighting vehicles, Forbes reported on Tuesday. According to the outlet, analysts believe that an attempt by the Ukrainian Army's 47th Assault Brigade and 33rd Mechanized Brigade to cross a minefield near the town of Malaya Tomchaka And I'm sure I got that wrong. Tokmaka, maybe Tokmaka, I don't know, in Russia's Zaporozhye region on June 8 proved to be even more disastrous than previously thought. Despite deploying demining vehicles, including several Leopard 2Rs donated by Finland and one German-made Weisent, the Ukrainian battle group appears to have failed to clear a path through the minefield. The Weisent and 3 Leopard 2R struck mines, as did several U.S.-supplied M2 Bradleys, while the brigade came under fire from Russian artillery and aviation. Experts have estimated that as a result of the failed attempt, which lasted several hours, no fewer than 25 Ukrainian vehicles were destroyed, including 17 M2s, 4 Leopard 2A6 tanks, 3 Leopard 2Rs, and 1 Weisent. Forbes noted that while the loss of 1 Weisent is not important, as the Ukrainian army has dozens more, the other losses have proven to be more significant. And pay close attention. The 47th 33rd Brigade Battle Group lost nearly a fifth of Ukraine's M2s, a fifth of its Leopard 8 or 2A6s, and half of its Leopard 2Rs, the outlet claimed, pointing out that Kiev lost the equivalent of an entire battalion in one botched assault. This is one battle. One battle. What the hell are we doing? Because it doesn't make any sense. There is no way we can continue to support this war. And when I say we, I'm talking about the bitches that sit in the high chairs. What happens when Ukraine runs out of our shit? I don't know. I just have a problem seeing any other ways that this can turn up. I mean, NATO, by the way, just in case you needed a Captain Obvious moment, NATO believes Ukraine's counteroffensive is unsuccessful so far, says Financial Times. I just, felt you needed to know NATO's thoughts on it. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Yeah, that worked out well, didn't it? U.S. moles sending long-range missiles to Kiev, says Wall Street Journal. Well, I thought we weren't going to do that. Huh. Amnesia, probably. That's all it is. He's old. Gotta give it to him. Amnesia. That's what it was. Load him up. Where's an Amish man when you need one? Amen. Right on. Right on. Right on. Those are the folks that have the best chance at survival. Right on. And a whole lot of people gathered up in little groups bullshitting themselves, though. You need community, and I mean community beyond a group. You need community, right? And you need to be able to feed community. It's kind of important. All I've seen is a bunch of people that got great ideas for their group of people for a couple of years, but nothing really beyond that. I guess they're going to get out there with a bunch of hoes and rakes and, you know. I'm sure any average group would be able to by hand, I don't know, do 100 acres of wheat, right? Shouldn't be a problem, right? Over 2 decades, I have been screaming this. And I mean, I'm not alone. I'm not saying I'm special. There's a lot of people who've been screaming about it for that long. Why does it take over 2 decades to get this far with something? You know, the FAA, September 16th, if I'm not mistaken, is expecting everybody that flies a drone, even the recreational pilot, to start abiding by remote ID regulations. Yet it's okay for them to take payouts from Boeing. I guess that's what happened. There was some kind of benefit, I'm sure. I'm referring, by the way, to the 737 MAX and the problems that they knew about before that plane was even allowed to take to the sky commercially. Anyway, shouldn't take over 2 decades. A cancer research brand of World Health Organization is set to designate the popular artificial sweetener aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans. Possibly. Now, you know, 99.9% isn't certain. Now, I'm just embellishing, but whatever. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, will deliver its ruling on July 14 after reviewing 1,300 studies, the news agency said on Thursday. It stated the impending announcement had been leaked by 2 insiders. The IARC does not account for consumption levels when assessing whether a substance poses cancer risk. Reuters said the ruling is intended to push for additional research into the matter. A separate opinion is expected to come on the same day from an expert committee called the JECFA, or the Joint WHO and Flood and Agriculture Organization's Expert Committee on Food Additives. Holy shit! Can you imagine the placard on that wall? alongside rulings by national regulators, the body made by its own review of aspartame safety this year. I mean, can you imagine? They would have to extend the building just to put the fucking name of themselves on it, right? Damn. Pardon my language. That's even hard to say in a full breath. Gotta walk around the corner of the building to finish reading the name. It's got a little continued ... with an arrow. Okay. What the hell was I? No, since 1981, Nope, that's it. Since 1981, the JECFA has considered the sugar substitute safe for humans within generous daily consumption limits. This view is globally shared by food safety regulators today. An IARC spokesperson told Reuters that the two rulings were complementary. Some national health bodies asked the WHO to release them on the same day to avoid confusion and concern among the public, as a letter the organization's leadership from Japanese health officials put it. Francis Hunt Wood, which is not relation to Francis Scott Key, the Secretary of General to the International Sweeteners Association, or ISA, which has major food producers among members, referred to the ARC as not a food safety body, the report noted. He claimed that the review was not scientifically comprehensive, there wasn't nearly enough acronyms, and based heavily on widely discredited research. Yeah, because they didn't have the acronyms. Look, if you don't have acronyms ready to go, don't even talk to the hand. In the past, IARC, see, acronyms, rulings have been used as evidence in court cases filed by cancer patients against manufacturers. One example would be glyphosate, the herbicide used in Monsanto's weed killer Roundup, which the IARC classified probably carcinogenic in humans in 2015. Possibly. Maybe. If it's a bad day. Aspartame is 200 times sweeter than sucrose, the primary component, which, by the way, isn't, well, the primary component of regular sugar, yeah, but I'm talking about the sucralose is not any better. It's, I think, the same damn thing, actually. I think sucralose is pretty much just aspartame renamed. I think maybe they changed a molecule or something in it. It's ridiculous, the nonsense they get away with. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Over 2 decades that I have been screaming. I can't speak for anybody else. Alright. Not good news here. Don't know if you're still here, Angel. I believe you're over there in UK. Millions in UK facing hunger, says survey. And believe me, folks, I think we're headed for very, very ugly times. I just want people to have the knowledge they need to really save as many people as possible. This whole focusing on just a little group of people isn't gonna work. That's a limited time thing. Crazy. It says here 1 in 7 people in the UK faced hunger last year due to a lack of money. Ah, you're still there. Research by food bank charity the Trestle Trust revealed on Wednesday. The survey, when I was picking up articles to do, to talk about, I thought of you when I put this one up. I thought, okay, well, Angel's over there. That's one thing I try to do. I realize a lot of news that I cover is inevitably going to be U.S. news, but I try not to ignore the other countries because, well, the United States isn't the only country on the planet, so. Oh, thank you, Hexafoods. Let's see. Okay, I think I'm there. The survey said this equated to an estimated 11.3 million people, which is more than double Scotland's population. Ethnic minorities, disabled people, and carriers, I'm not quite sure what that word's supposed to be, were among those most affected. Cars, you may have to translate that for me, Angel. That, or did they misspell something? It says we're among those most affected, with researchers linking food insecurity to the cost of living crisis in the UK that is showing little sign of abating. Let's see. The Trestle Trust runs more than 1,200 food banks across its network, which is around 2/3 of the UK total. The charity said it provided a record 3 million food parcels in the year to March, a 37% surge, and more than double the amount delivered 5 years ago. It added that the latest findings were just the tip of the iceberg. About 7% of Britain's population was provided with charitable food support in the year to mid-2022, while 71% of people facing food shortages said they had not accessed any such support. Food banks are not the answer when people are going without the essentials in one of the richest economies in the world. We need a social security system which provides protection and the dignity for people to cover their own essentials such as food and bills, Trestle Trust Chief Executive Emma Revy said. Hey, don't believe them. It's a trap. You know what it is? It's a Ponzi scheme that they're allowed to run on us. The consistent upward trajectory exposes that its weaknesses in the social security system that are the driving food bank need rather than just the pandemic or cost of living crisis, the report said. We're getting fleeced. Let's just face it. We're getting fleeced. The need for us is rapidly decreasing. That is a fact. With automation, and as automation takes its steps, each steps it takes, right? Because we're talking the Industrial Revolution is when this started. The automation. When they started building machines and equipment to do stuff for us, that's when this started. It started a long damn time ago. But they advanced a lot. Now we've even got AI, which is going to put countless amounts of people out of jobs. You know, there were people that were warning. I can remember back in the 80s when they were putting the robot welders in the automotive industry. I can remember the unions and everything raising hell. I remember that stuff. Again, you know, my dad, he watched the news. There was no getting around that. I guarantee you there was no getting around watching the news in my house. My dad would stomp a mud hole in your ass if you even got near that TV tuner. I guarantee you that. So I saw a lot of news. And my dad, MySpace and Facebook weren't much a thing in the 80s. So, and my dad didn't run for office. No, he was pretty antisocial. And, I can remember him talking about different things. And, I can remember, I don't know, it's odd. Like, sometimes I was a kid, and sometimes he would have conversations about this stuff. And, which I thought I was a kid. I mean, a little kid. So I thought that was kind of odd. I don't know. I'm glad he did. Hindsight, right? I am really glad he did, because I remember this stuff. I remember it well. The focus has to move from where we've known it to be, and that's power and money and because in order for that to work, you got to have a social structure, and that social structure in and of itself is the oppressive factor. U.S. Supreme Court bans reverse racism in college applications. Let me tell you, this has got people throwing a fit on the left. We got huffed, by the way. I don't know why, but we got... Oh! Now I know why. Yeah, I probably should move on from here. There is no gentle way to tell you this, but blue happens to be black. So, I know blue, black, doesn't make a lot of sense. But she's obviously offended. That was such perfect timing. Oh, I love that dog. The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration when choosing who to admit. The decision overturns a system that critics say has unfairly penalized whites and Asians for almost 4 decades. That's 40 years for people that's counting. Or I should say people that can't. The court delivered its verdict on Thursday, with its 6 conservative justices ruling against affirmative action and its 3 liberals dissenting. Writing the court's majority opinion, Justice John Roberts, considered a moderate and a swing justice, argued that race-based admissions policies violate the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. Damn right it does. Such policies lack sufficiently focused and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints, Roberts wrote. Justice Clarence Thomas was more forceful, slamming universities for their rudderless race-based preferences designed to ensure a particular racial mix in the entering classes. Hey, can we go to employment next, please? These policies fly in the face of our colorblind Constitution and our nation's equality ideal, Thomas declared. When it comes to this stuff, we have to stop with this special rights nonsense. Equal rights, abso-freaking-lutely. Special rights, no. Nobody, and I mean nobody, should have special rights. Nobody. 3 more balloons, what? Huh? What are you talking about? 3 more balloons. I don't see any balloons. Dude. How many mushrooms did you take? Anyway. I'll wait for your answer. Not about the shrooms, but about what balloons you're referring to. Saw a guy on... Oh, I'm just now looking up. Sorry. I got huffed. Blue huffed me for you. So yeah, this is a good thing. And like I say, can we move to employment next? Because there's a lot of unfair crap with that too. This is the last one I have for you. And I told you, while it's not really, I can't make it the best for what's last, but definitely the most ironic. But I can't say that I didn't call for this. You do. I do remember this. I do remember this. Do you? Do you remember me calling out for Greta Thunberg to address Ukraine? Because I did. She did. So let's find out what the little twit did. Climate activist, or aka Little Twit, Greta Thunberg met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on Thursday as part of a proposal to form a working group on environmental damage caused by the conflict. Now this meeting was scheduled in between photo shoots and Zelensky getting fitted for his new dildos, but they managed to get the meeting in. Thunberg, who's 20 now, I don't know, maybe she attended the other parts, I'm not judging, visited the presidential palace in the company of the former Swedish Deputy PM Margot Wallström, European Parliament VP Heidi Hautala, and former Irish President Mary Robinson. I just got to thinking, Angel probably laughs his ass off at hearing me try to pronounce some of the names. I barely know English. We need your professional help, Zelensky told the Western activists, thanking them for the compact of very concretic steps. Concretic? Okay, we'll give you that, maybe. I don't know. Is that really a word? Is that real? Concretic? I'm assuming that means concrete-ish. Why wouldn't it be concrete-ish? Concretism. Concretism. The meaning of concretism is representation of the abstract things as concrete. Well, I'm glad that we've clarified that. Gotta know, concrete is a good foundation, and we need to start with a good foundation. A concretic foundation, as a matter of fact. I've got a new word now. Look out! Alright, Thunberg accused Russia of deliberately targeting the environment and people's livelihoods and homes, and therefore also destroying lives, because this is, after all, a matter of people. According to AP, the proposed working group wants to evaluate the environmental damage from the conflict, start efforts to restore Ukraine's ecology and formulate mechanisms to hold Russia accountable. Earlier this month, at the start of Ukraine's all-out offensive, the Kakhovka Dam on the Dnieper River collapsed, causing widespread flooding in Russian territory. The dam's destruction also drained the reservoir that provided water to Crimea and helped cool the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, Europe's largest such facility. Kiev and Moscow have blamed each other for the disaster. Ukraine has previously used U.S.-supplied rockets to bomb the dam. I got an idea. Why don't we take a little twit there? Take a little twit, and we're going to put her in charge of the garden hose. Right? And if there's an emergency at the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, little twit there can take her garden hose and keep water running over the cooling rods to save the planet. Right? Because she's so worried about the climate. That's a perfect job for her. She could be the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant garden hose holder. Why not? She wants to help. I'm sure that jet that she flew on over to talk about her bullshit probably didn't help the climate a whole lot, though. Yeah. Of course, the plastics that were used to make Zelensky's dildos probably didn't help the climate either, but that's not the discussion of topic. I don't know why I was kept out of the really good schools. I don't know. I don't understand. Alright. Let's run through some headlines. It's my Friday. Cut me a little slack. Thank you, Angel. Sometimes I get a little too nuts, though. I feel like I crossed that Rubicon. It's fun to cross the Rubicon, but I don't know that it's wholly appropriate. New Nord Stream theory tabled by U.S. journalists. Putin comments on disrespect of Quran. Yeah, I'm not good with that stuff either. This whole nonsense, and that's just my opinion, but this whole nonsense, to me, it's supposed to be about our hearts. And if it's within my heart to destroy someone else's heart, I don't think my father, the one that I've gotten to know, would be real good with that. I don't know. Estonia draws up plan to transfer frozen Russian money, says media. Poland signs deal to tap British oil. Biden sleeps in a mask, says White House. Is it animatronic by chance? Because I'm pretty sure it's animatronic. Counteroffensive is hard work, says top Kiev official. China offers U.S. military cooperation deal. China tests weapons for total war scenario, says media. Oh, I covered that. Sorry. Let's see. Covered that one. Germany reports record capital flight. Israel explains why it's against Iron Dome deliveries to Ukraine. Well, duh. We're just going to give you some of these so that the other people can figure out how they work. Let's see. Asian countries struggles with incursions by unidentified drones. Vietnam. You gotta get down in them foxholes and shoot them out of the sky. I'm having flashback. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I used to love telling Vietnam stories. I'm like not even old enough. But it was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I did it in a, it was done in a, it was humor. Back, a little ways back, we had a thing called humor. It was fun. People didn't get offended, and let's see. Real wages surge in Russia. EU delivers neither peace nor prosperity, says member state. Russian MP names reason for Wagner mutiny. We are ready for competition with the West, says Putin. Police use of firearm against teen unjustified, says French prosecutor. Yeah, there's all kinds of craziness going on over there. Moscow hits out at Sweden over Quran burning stunt. Ukraine outraged over Western expectations, says an economist. U.S. debt becoming unsustainable, says a report. I just want to know what their first clue was. China legalizes countermeasures against the West. Ukrainian generals killed in Russian strike, says MOD. Not method of destruction, the Ministry of Defense. But I mean, method of destruction might write a song about it. Millions in UK facing hunger, says, I covered that. Ukraine will need 117 years to win back territory from Russia, says Seymour Hersh. It's just a little while. German gay pride event celebrates Nazi collaborator. Celebrities demand big tech censor trans criticism. Haven't they been already? Ukrainians can't break through our defenses, says Chechen commander. Protesters storm Swedish embassy following Quran burning. Marriage among Americans hits record low, says a poll. President mows roadside grass in unusual protest. Let's see. NATO chief makes promise to Ukraine. American troops will not fight in Ukraine, says Washington. This week. Next week, they might say something else. Let's see. France deploys anti-terror units against rioters. And lastly, Quran burning not illegal, says NATO chief. And again, we're not supposed to be focused on legality. Pretty sure we're supposed to be focused on what our commands are from him, not from man. But anyway, fun times. What? Fire Marshal Bill, are you out there? You might want to check out the Getting place. And I'm expecting more stuff soon. I'm gonna probably fly on my couple of days off a fair amount. I miss it. I haven't really flown a whole lot. So the last couple of days I've put the flight stick and stuff up and flew a little bit, but I don't know. I just need to do something, a nice long flight. Might even be a glider flight. I don't know. We'll see. However, for now, I'm going to get the hell off of here and take my happy ass to bed. So, anyway, God willing, I will be back Sunday. I appreciate y'all coming tonight. I hope to see you Sunday night. And as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.